Welcome to Global Watch. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. Let's be honest, the world is complicated. Every day we navigate a maze of choices, cultures, and connections that stretch across continents. What seems simple on the surface is often tangled in a web of global relationships, invisible to most of us as we go about our daily routines. One minute you're enjoying a burger, savoring a familiar taste, and the next, that same burger becomes a symbol in a global trade war. Suddenly, your lunch is no longer just about food, it's about politics, economics, and international power struggles. Today, October 17th, 2025, a trade dispute has exploded into a full-blown crisis for America's most iconic brands. Newsrooms are buzzing, headlines are flashing, and the world is watching as tensions escalate. At the center of this storm is McDonald's, a brand that once stood for globalization and comfort food, now caught in the crossfire of tariffs and rising nationalism. The golden arches have become a lightning rod for anger and protest. This isn't just about fast food, it's about the fragile architecture of global trade. Every burger, every shipment, every supply chain is a thread in a vast, interconnected system that keeps the world running. For years, we believed that commerce would keep the peace, that business ties would bind nations together and prevent conflict. Trade deals and open markets were supposed to be the glue holding the world together. But what happens when trade becomes the weapon? When the very system designed to unite us is used to divide and punish? Suddenly, your soda, your phone, even your toothpaste are pawns in an economic war. Everyday items become scarce or unaffordable, and ordinary people feel the impact of decisions made in distant boardrooms and government offices. The US-India standoff is a perfect example. Decades of market integration and cooperation now threatened by a single political decision. Years of progress can unravel in a matter of days. Tonight, we'll see how a spat over oil and steel led to Indian consumers being told their beloved Makaloo tikki is suddenly unpatriotic. What was once a symbol of cultural fusion is now a target for outrage. When a fast food chain faces a 300% tariff threat, it's not just a business problem. It's a warning for the global economy. The ripple effects can be felt in every corner of the world, from Wall Street to your local grocery store. Let's figure out what it means before the whole engine explodes. Because in a world this connected, a single spark can set off a global fire. To understand why American brands are under fire in India, we need to rewind. This isn't just about burgers and fries, or even about the logos that dot Indian cityscapes. It's about a much bigger story, one that's been brewing for years, quietly shaping the relationship between two of the world's largest democracies. This crisis is the result of a slow-burning US-India trade dispute that finally boiled over. Behind the scenes, diplomats and negotiators have been locked in a tug-of-war, each side trying to protect its own interests while keeping the peace. For years, the two countries had simmering disagreements. Think of it as a marriage with constant bickering over billions in trade. Disputes ranged from agricultural imports to tech tariffs, and every negotiation seemed to end with more questions than answers. The spark? In summer 2025, the Trump administration slapped a 25% tariff on Indian goods, citing India's Russian oil purchases. The move was sudden, but the warning signs had been there. Washington had long been uneasy about India's growing energy ties with Moscow. Combined with earlier tariffs, the total hit 50%, an economic sledgehammer. For Indian exporters, it was a gut punch, threatening jobs and entire industries overnight. India saw this as political bullying, not just economics. The message from Washington felt less like negotiation and more like an ultimatum, fueling anger on the streets and in Parliament. After failed trade talks, the tariffs went live in August. Suddenly, every shipment, every container, every product crossing the border was caught in the crossfire. President Trump lumped India with China and Brazil, escalating tensions. For India, being grouped with its biggest rivals was a diplomatic slap in the face, and it only deepened the sense of injustice. The US action was seen as an overreach, a superpower dictating terms. Editorials and protesters alike accused America of using its economic muscle to bend others to its will. This wasn't about trade anymore. It was about national pride. Across India, the mood shifted from frustration to defiance as people rallied around their flag and their leaders. Prime Minister Modi seized the moment, turning economic attack into a call for self-reliance. He urged Indians to support local businesses, framing the crisis as a chance to build a stronger, more independent nation. And just like that, the battleground shifted from government offices to the storefronts of American companies across India. Everyday choices, where to shop, what to eat, became acts of patriotism or protest. The trade war had gone public. What started as a dispute between governments was now a national movement, with ordinary Indians at its heart. India's response was swift and deeply rooted in history. Modi revived the Swadeshi call, buy Indian, be patriotic. Influencers like Baba Ramdev urged boycotts of Pepsi, Coke, Subway, KFC, and McDonald's. This wasn't fringe. It became a national movement. Rallies erupted, effigies of American brands burned, and WhatsApp campaigns spread the boycott message to millions. Suddenly, choosing between Pepsi and Limca was a political act. American brands became symbols of foreign interference. The Swadeshi wave was more than a hashtag. It was a shift in consumer consciousness, weaponized by politics and nationalism. For global brands, it was a crisis like never before. For McDonald's, India was a dream market. 1.4 billion people, a growing middle class. The company localized its menu, hoping to become part of Indian life. But now, the Golden Arches are a target of nationalist anger. Boycotts and negative press are hitting sales hard. Even Colgate, with 43% of India's toothpaste market, is under fire. Pepsi, Coke, Apple, all face the same hostility. Amazon India, a key platform, is caught in the crossfire too. American companies are treading carefully, hoping the storm will pass. But leaving isn't an option, and staying means navigating a minefield. Their global local business model is under threat. Is this a temporary storm or a permanent climate change for foreign brands in India? The stakes have never been higher. The trade war's impact goes far beyond American corporations. Its shockwaves ripple across continents, touching the lives of millions in unexpected ways. The 50% US tariff threatens thousands of Indian exporters, garments, gems, furniture, whose main market is America. For these industries, the US isn't just a trading partner. It's a lifeline that sustains entire communities and families. For many, this is an existential threat. Small businesses, already operating on thin margins, now face the possibility of closure, leaving owners and workers anxious about their future. Indian stock markets plunged, the rupee fell, and economic instability spread. Investors pulled back, and uncertainty gripped the financial sector, making it harder for businesses to access credit or plan ahead. Boycotting American brands also hurts Indian workers, franchisees, suppliers, employees. These are everyday people whose livelihoods depend on the very companies now caught in the crossfire. A successful boycott means job losses for thousands of Indians. Factories slow down, shops close, and the ripple effect reaches deep into local economies. The paradox: Swadeshi aims to boost local industry, but the backlash could devastate jobs and disrupt the economy. The very movement meant to empower can, in the short term, bring hardship to those it seeks to help. Tariffs and boycotts are expected to slow India's growth and add uncertainty. Businesses delay investments, and families postpone big decisions, waiting for stability to return. The dream of self-reliance is powerful, but the path is paved with disruption and insecurity. For many, hope and anxiety now walk hand in hand. The real cost is measured in lost jobs and shaken livelihoods. Behind every statistic is a family struggling to adapt, to survive, and to find new opportunities. The trade war's pain is real, and it's spreading. As India navigates these economic tremors, the resilience of its people will be tested like never before. Indian brands saw opportunity in the chaos. Dabur ran ads positioning its toothpaste as the patriotic alternative to Colgate, using the American flag's colors to make its point. Amul and other local brands launched campaigns urging consumers to buy Indian. Entrepreneurs took to social media, turning nationalism into a marketing blitz. For American brands, it's not just about product quality anymore, It's about patriotism versus foreign influence. At its core, this is a failure of diplomacy. The US and India spent years building a partnership. Now it's unraveling. 5 rounds of trade talks failed. Both sides dug in. No new talks are scheduled, and mistrust is growing. The trade war undermines cooperation on bigger issues: climate, security, global stability. Domestic politics have trumped international diplomacy. Trump's America First collided with Modi's muscular nationalism. Both leaders are playing to their bases, and the relationship is collateral damage. The handshakes are gone, replaced by a diplomatic freeze. The world is watching, and the cost is rising. Lost in the headlines are the people living this crisis. Public sentiment in India is divided. Some join boycotts, others just want their lunch. For export workers, the tariffs are a direct threat to their jobs. Factory owners face cancelled orders, layoffs loom. Indian employees of American brands fear for their livelihoods as boycotts grow. The Swadeshi movement, aimed at foreign firms, ends up hurting Indian workers. It's a mix of nationalism, indifference, and anxiety. Small business owners worry about friends losing jobs. Teenagers see boycott messages, but still use American products. This isn't a simple story. It's a messy human drama across a nation of 1.4 billion. So where does this leave us? At a crossroads. The US-India trade war is a symptom of a fracturing globalized world. Economic interdependence was supposed to bring stability, but now it's a weapon. Your dinner is a pawn in a geopolitical game. The future looks rocky. Tariffs, boycotts, and political pressure threaten international business. Global brands must now be political actors, not just marketers. This is a wake-up call. Global supply chains are fragile, and diplomacy can't be taken for granted. Without compromise, minor disputes can escalate into crises that hurt everyone. The future of fries and global trade depends on the choices we make now. Will we rebuild bridges or retreat into economic corners? One thing's clear: a world with more trade wars and fewer McPuffs isn't an improvement.